Today, Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock visited Social Circle as the community there voices concerns over a proposed ICE detention center.
Some city leaders and residents say they are concerned that the city doesn't have the infrastructure to handle this kind of facility. Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond reports from the facility with more on what Senator Warnock had to say.
City leaders here in Social Circle say they are concerned that they do not have the local utilities to handle a facility like this. So Senator Raphael Warnock visited Social Circle here on Monday to hear some of those concerns and take them back to Washington.
That this project is an engineering and feasibility.
City Manager Eric Taylor says this has never been about making a political statement about the current administration's immigration policy. It's just about protecting their community in the long term.
We simply do not have the water and sewer capacity to handle the demands of what would effectively be tripling the population of our city practically overnight.
Which is something he and Mayor David Keener showed U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock on Monday through their water treatment and sewer plants, as well as an elementary school just a mile down the road from the facility that could soon hold detainees facing deportation.
Folks in Social Circle voted for this president overwhelmingly. But here's what they didn't vote for. They did not vote for a 10,000 person detention center that will triple the size of their town.
Republican U.S. Representative Mike Collins told Atlanta News First last week that he is in favor of an ICE facility like this, but here's the concerns from city leaders.
We just want to make sure that the infrastructure's there, that the facility that they do pick is able to handle it safely.
And the city manager says he's only had one conversation with the Department of Homeland Security, and that was last month.
The city manager doesn't know how they're supposed to sustain this facility. It just speaks volumes about the lack of transparency.
Now, this proposed facility here in Social Circle would be one of 8 mega centers across the country. In Social Circle, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.